Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. It is Saturday, May 27th. We're into Memorial Day weekend, and the clock is still ticking on ATF's pistol brace rule. Now, there has been a lot of talk, a lot of chest puffing, a lot of smack talking about how this rule was going to get stopped, but here I am putting a video out just 96 hours before this rule goes into effect, and the clock is still ticking. Now, a lot of you were hopeful that the Fifth Circuit would jump in and issue a nationwide injunction. But as you know, on this video right here, we already talked about, hey, that's not going to happen unless you're one of the very few named plaintiffs. You are not enjoying the fruits of those labors. Can Congress actually stop this? Well, they could, but we really do need to attach some reality to it and start counting numbers. And candidly, it doesn't look really good. So today, let's spend a few minutes and talk about how Congress is not going to stop ATF's pistol brace rule. Okay, so here's what we're talking about yet again today. The clock is still ticking on the pistol brace rule. Attorney after attorney after attorney has been puffing their chest out saying they were going to stop this thing. It has not been stopped. We were hopeful that the Fifth Circuit was going to stop it. They have stopped it only for a handful of individuals. And of course, as I've said before, the biggest braggadocious group, the biggest chest puffers of all was Congress. They were going to stop this rule in its tracks. They told us that a couple of months ago, and yet here we are. Now, let's talk about what could Congress really do, because I know a lot of you have your hopes up that somehow or another in the 11th hour there is going to be some congressional save here and this rule is not going to go into effect. Folks, I'm here to tell you that the likelihood of that occurring is virtually impossible. Let me explain why. What a lot of you are excited about, because there have been those out there in the Twitter sphere and all that talking about what a great piece of legislation this is House Joint Resolution number 44. Now, this was sponsored by Representative Clyde in the House of Representatives. It was signed on by literally every member of the GOP in the House of Representatives. And if this were to be enacted, that is fully passed as a joint resolution, this is how the resolution would read. Resolved by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the United States in Congress assembled that Congress disapproves the rule submitted by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives relating to factoring criteria for firearms with attached stabilizing braces, ATF Final Rule 2021R-08F, and such rule shall have no force or effect. That's right. If this House Joint Resolution were to pass, it would basically eliminate enforcement of the rule. Hallelujah, right? Okay, but here's what it takes to pass a House Joint Resolution. It's got to pass out of the House. It's going to do that. It's also got to pass out of the Senate. The votes are not there. However, we do recognize that there are a handful of Democrats that would really be hard-pressed perhaps not to support this, and so it is possible, not highly probable, but it is possible we could get 51 votes in the Senate, okay? But then it's going to go to the president's desk, and we all know that this president is not going to sign that resolution. It is dead on arrival. The same thing is, even if you could get a Senate joint resolution out of the Senate and somehow or another pass it out of the Senate by getting 2 or 3 crossover votes and then get it passed out of the House, the thing's dead before it ever gets to Joe Biden's desk. So the ability to get a House joint or a Senate joint resolution, something that may actually have effect and ability to stop this rule, is about the same as throwing rocks at the moon, okay? Now, there are House resolutions and there are Senate resolutions which do not require concurrence from the other chamber. But here's the thing, because we know we can get a House resolution passed. There's all the votes. Here's all the votes right here to get a House resolution passed. But guess what a House resolution gets? Well, it gets you nothing, actually. It gets the Speaker of the House to write a nasty letter to ATF and tell them what they think of the rule. And I think Director Dettelbach probably figured that out during his examination back on April 26th before Congress. But that's all it does. Oh, it might allow the Speaker or a committee chair to form another subcommittee to look into this further and things like that. But can a House or Senate resolution, a single chamber resolution, stop this rule in its tracks? No, it cannot. The only way that Congress can stop this in its tracks is through a joint resolution or through legislation. both of which are going to require passage out of both the House of Representatives and the Senate, and a signature by the president. That is the only way that this is going to become effective legislation to stop this. So what are the chances that Congress in the 11th hour is going to step in and save you guys? Well, it's pretty much slim and none, and Slim is out of town. Listen, you may have more questions about this pistol brace rule or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights. You guys should know how to contact Washington Gun Law by now, but if you don't, that's okay. That information is down there in the description box. In the meantime, I do want all of you to remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation and how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe.